Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Random Hour. As always, I'm your co-host Devin Moore of More Sports, and as you can see here, I just got one person with me here today. Kyle is sick; he won't be with us today. So, as always, he left me unsupervised, and we're gonna see what happens. And I'm gonna give our special guest here the floor real fast and introduce himself. Danny, go ahead.
Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Danny Dones. I'm the co-writer and director of the feature film Clone Cops.
That's right. Clone Cops. That's like I saw the trailer. Danny, what and I wish Phil was here to tell you. I came across your guys' movie trailer randomly on my reels, and I was like, and I showed it to Kyle, and Kyle was like, "Dude, let's talk about this." And it just looked awesome. And Kyle has watched the movie. I haven't got a chance to watch it yet, but he told me last night and this morning he's like, "Devin, you got to watch it. It's good." And I was like, "Bet."
That's
But
awesome, man. Glad.
yeah, it was a great time. But the first question I'm going to ask you is: we are a nerd pop culture podcast, and what are some things you nerd out about?
Oh man, uh, I've got a lot of nerdy interests. I'm a big D&D player, so I'm a DM too, but lots of D&D stuff. And then I go way back. So for me, Star Wars is king nerd. I spend a lot of time in my high school days watching the original Star Wars, and I've kept up with it since Disney bought it, and all through all read all the books, and I'm an old head when it comes to that.
Oh yeah, how? What was your favorite book in the Legacy title?
I think probably the Zahn trilogy, Heir to the Empire, and all those books. I mean, that's such a stock answer because they're fantastic, and of all those legacy books, I feel like that's probably the one that is most has most like made its way into the films and into the Disneyverse version of stuff.
Right.
But yeah, that's the one that really stuck out to me. Splinter of the Mind's Eye is another one that I really like because it's so weird and out there, and it was like before they knew they were going to have like an extended universe, so a lot of weird things happen in it.
Oh yeah, see, my wife has gotten to the books, but she's only read. So Disney made their own novelization. The Ahsoka book's pretty good if you've read it. Have you read the Ahsoka one?
I did read the Ahsoka one, and it is really good. I
That one's
liked it.
really good. I like how that's to me the best book. And then she read the ones about Padme because her favorite character was Padme and the Princess Leia ones. But she won't read the legacy ones. I'm like, Megan, I mean, even though they're not really canon anymore, sadly, I said they're really good. But she's like, I like the new canon. And she likes they introduced the not the old Republic, but the High Republic era. I don't know if you've
Oh
read
yeah,
any of those.
I haven't. No. Uh,
Oof.
I'll say the
Uh,
other legacy series that's definitely worth reading, even if it doesn't really matter anymore, is the Rogue Squadron books. Were fantastic. Wedge Antilles is one of my favorite characters, so I've loved watching like reading all those books. I wish they'd do a Wedge series. That'd be cool.
no, yeah. Yeah, another one I've liked. And this one thing I did like about the Disney continuity that they don't do anymore. The Bad Batch was a good example of it was an old video game for Nintendo 64. It was the Delta Squad one.
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember playing that, where it was like the Bad Batch version of like more badder clones, like the badass clones. I don't know if you remember that.
I do remember that, and the Bad Batch is actually another. I've really enjoyed all the Bad Batch stuff that they've done. That's been really great.
Yeah, the sad part is this is gonna sound bad, and I'll say this on camera. Haven't finished season 2 yet, and everybody's like, "Devin, what do you mean you ain't finished season 2 yet?" I'm like, "Dude, season 1 great. Then all the other stuff came out, like Book of Boba Fett, which
Yeah.
I've enjoyed, and then like the Mandalorian stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's just in my back burner.
Hey, I understand. I'm kind of when it comes to the shows, there are a couple that I've watched them all, and there's a couple like Acolyte I watched just because I felt like I had to watch it to know like what's coming next.
Mhm.
But that was definitely one where I could have left that one on the back burner. I think.
Oh,
And
Acolyte made me so mad. It made me. I'm gonna defend myself. I'm gonna be more in depth. It just made me upset when they said the twin girls were like they made the twin girls the chosen ones, and I'm like, oh, what? How can the twin girls be the chosen one when Anakin? You know what I mean? I'm like, they just retcon themselves.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I know that definitely was a big thing in the fandom that split everybody down the middle. Yeah, man, but I mean, I'm so old that I remember when they made Anakin the chosen one. When the idea of midichlorians came into play back in my day, that was like everybody got mad about that. So, nerds are gonna get mad. There's always gonna be something people are gonna get mad about.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I'm just like, to me, and that was just my hot take with it. But I did like. I mean, I liked the guy that was the. See, this is so long since I've watched it. I had liked the villain. I had liked the past because I was like, okay, and it was, eh, wasn't terrible. I haven't watched Skeleton Crew yet, and everybody talks good about Skeleton Crew.
Oh, it's fun. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It's very like Goonies, Star Wars Goonies. It was a cute show. I really liked it. Yeah, man. I think the thing about Acolyte that really I didn't care for was the production design of it. The thing, it's such a small thing, but like they keep showing all these like Jedi temples that are supposed to be the height of the old Republic, right? Like the Jedi are at their most powerful. Everything's like, and they keep going to all these Jedi temples that are just like ramshackle and dirty and run down and nothing, like everything's kind of like busted looking. Which I
Yep.
get that that's the aesthetic of Star Wars, but I kind of was like, yeah, but that's not this time. Like this time frame, everything should be like new and shiny and
See,
at the
thank
height
you.
of their thing.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody agrees with me. I thought the same thing when I was watching it. I was like, dude, this is not like the original trilogy where Luke's like the only one out here. I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. It's a weird show for sure. They made some choices.
well, okay.
Uh,
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: not out of the TV shows, but what was your favorite? What has been your favorite Star Wars movie of all time?
oh gosh, I'm gonna break with tradition. Everybody says Empire. I'm gonna say Return of the Jedi because the space battles in that were really amazing. That's probably my favorite part of Star Wars is the space battle stuff, and flying through the Death Star and all of that was really cool. And the giant with all the capital ships fighting, like that was just such a cool sequence. It blew my mind when I was a kid.
Right.
I think of the newer stuff, probably Rogue One is probably
Yep.
my favorite. Just kind of again, it goes back to it. Just felt like watching the original Star Wars. It felt like more like the original Star Wars trilogy than anything else I've seen, and they really nailed like that vibe, and the production design was incredible. Um, and then of the, I think when I think about the prequels, the third one, Revenge of the Sith, is they've got some cool space battles in that one, and I dug that one of the prequels the most. It's not to say on my rankings it's not near the top, but of the prequels it's probably the most fun.
Nice. See, I agree with you. Rogue One to me, out of all the newer Disney stuff, that was the best one. Just to repeat what you said, it had the most to feel. It had very good character development throughout, and you just felt every character's death.
Yeah, yeah,
Eh,
and like there's definitely like that ending scene like tears, just like oh man, they're really going for it. They're really gonna end it. Like we just started with these characters, and you guys are really gonna like close it out. I thought it was a really brave kind of thing to do because so much nowadays is built on um, continuing, like Marvel movie kind of stuff where like every character has to have this long thing and you can always bring them back and it's all about building franchises. So it was cool to see them go, nope, it's gonna be one movie. We're just gonna do the one.
that's so true. But now to focus on what we're here for. What has been the most challenging? What has been the most challenging thing with the creation of Clone Cops?
Gosh, I think probably the stuff that we've been doing since we finished it. I think making the movie, editing it, doing all the sound, writing it, all that stuff is fun. Like I had a blast doing all of that. The actual creative work to me is super rewarding and great. The challenging part has been the marketing to me of like getting out, just doing social media content, just trying to like, I mean you do stand up, you kind of know how it is. It's like writing the jokes is fun, but once you get up there and put it out there for the world to see and be judged on it, that to me is the hard part. That's like oh I people are now talking about the movie, and we've had a lot of great reviews and people really seem to like it. But there's also been some criticism of it, that's like, oh, all right, you got to take the good with the bad. But yeah, definitely the the money part, trying to make money on a movie is no fun.
Oh yeah, trust me, we know. Even trying to do this show, when we first started, um, we've got our first 3 cents off of a play, and we were like, "Woo!" And this is back when we first started. We're like, "Woo! We're 3 cents richer."
Yeah, man. I mean, we're in TVOD right now, so you can rent the movie, you can purchase it anywhere you can, like anywhere you would rent or purchase a movie. So like Amazon, Apple TV, all that stuff. So, but we won't know for 3 months. We won't know how well it's doing out there. Our ads are doing really well, so we hope that that's translating to sales. But
Mm,
so we're just kind of like operating in the blind right now and just hoping for the best.
mm. My follow-up question about the movie: if you could sum up Clone Cops with 3 movies, what 3 movies would those be?
Let's see. I think certainly when we were writing it, I was very aware that we were doing a lot of like Paul Verhoeven kind of stuff, like the satire of Verhoeven. So like RoboCop is definitely one of those three, I think. And then we kind of realized like the humor style and the way that we cut the movie was very reminiscent of like Shaun of the Dead. So that's probably one of them. And then like I think the humor is also kind of like Ghostbusters style humor, that realm of joking. So those would probably be the three that I would love to be compared to. RoboCop, Shaun of the Dead, and Ghostbusters. If somebody compared the movie to any of those, I'd be really happy. There
It's
you go.
more of a like a RoboCop, which I kind of could tell from the trailer, and I could definitely tell from the Goonies. So it's a combination of action adventures with nostalgia of 80 humor.
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, and definitely like the satire of Paul Verhoeven kind of movies where we're really playing with like um, the consumerism and capitalist society and the
Nice.
commodification of
So
human life and that sort of thing
this next
in
question was a Kyle question,
a
and
really silly way.
this is gonna sound weird coming from me, but just bear with me, okay? I know this is gonna sound crazy, but I know how his brain works. If Okay, how often are people having sex with the clones that there is chlamydia?
um, I mean,
Uh huh.
I think probably pretty often. I think we definitely talked about what the world is like outside of the movie, and if we get a chance to do a sequel, which I really hope we do, that we will explore that a little bit more of how common it is, and I think it's probably more common than people want it to be, because our whole thing was like, look, if basically the idea is like cloning is so commonplace now that it's like people working at a fast food place can do it. Like that's how easy they've made it. The system is set up and it's so self-contained that like you just press a few buttons and you can do it. So you think like if all of a sudden the crew at Taco Bell could make clones, I think they'd do some weird stuff with them. I
You
don't think
think
it could be all
so?
above board.
With the big
So
white
that was kind
heads
of
and the
our thought
shades?
is that they're
Oh,
probably getting nasty with these clones. I think so.
how attractive. Hold up. We got a Megan Fox underneath
Well,
there?
underneath that helmet, they're quite attractive. So I think there's you've seen.
Whatever helps himself sleep at night. But don't tell
Well,
him I said that.
I think Phil is the Megan Fox of 40-year-old white men.
I'll do that for the cut up. Oh, it probably will. I like to
You can
one marketing tool I like to
put that
use is
on the
Opus
trailer for
Clip.
this episode.
Opus Clip has helped us out a lot. So they're gonna see that and be like, Phil Collins, 40-year-old, 2-year-old white Megan Fox. He's gonna be like, what the hell? I'll be sure to tag y'all in that clip. Uh, oh man. What has been the most fun promotional piece you guys have done for
I
promoting the
appreciate it.
movie?
Oh, I mean, we did this 10 city tour where we went to movie theaters around the country and showed the movie, and that was just too much fun. I mean, it was definitely work and definitely tiring, but it was just amazing to go to all these different cities and get to meet
Mm-hmm.
people that are into the movie and that came out to watch it. To see the movie in like theaters that many times was a dream come true. When we were making the movie, I never really. I mean, I hoped it would get a theatrical release, but I
Nice.
never really
All right.
uh,
I got another
thought that it
crazy
would.
question for
And
you, but this
so
is one that I
getting to
typed
watch
up
it
because
on a big screen like that
I had some
was
questions.
amazing.
All right, here we go. See, you're smiling because I feel like you know what my next question is. what What was the
Okay.
inspiration for the character Thong Daddy 420?
Well, all right. So Thong Daddy is it's my Spice J, who's a DJ here in Nashville, and he's done some bigger
Huh?
shows around the country. He's a good friend of mine, and he I knew I wanted to put him in the movie, so I basically wrote that character for him. So that is just like that's he's not nearly as gross as Thong Daddy is, but he definitely has that same energy. So it was a lot of fun getting to watch him do his thing. And then the name, for me,
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea of like, we're all not maybe we're all not all gamers, but I'm a gamer, and a lot of the fans of the movie are gamers, and we all when we were like 10 years old made our gamer tag. And it was something that we thought was really cool at the time. And then it just, as you got older, it's like, hey, how's it going there, Thong Daddy? It's like, it's this dumb thing that you're stuck with as you get older and you don't want to like delete your gamer tag and start over. So that was kind of my
Oh
thought with him.
God,
Was like,
yeah.
what's
See,
the thing? Like when he was
our young
13
listener
years old, he
homes
made this
at
name, and
home
now
don't even know
he's
what it's like
famous and
growing
he's
up on
stuck
the
with this stupid
Xbox
name.
Xbox gamer here.
Oh yeah, yeah, Xbox. Well, and just I mean, I grew up playing like Counter Strike on PC, and being
Mm-hmm.
being in clans and stuff. So that was definitely a part of that whole thing. Was like
Oh
your name
man,
had
no,
to
I
like
just you said
stick
gamer
with your
tag, and I'm like, oh
clan's like
God. There's two
theme.
things in my
So
childhood that the kids always
you
ask me, and
wound
I
up with
tell
all
them
these
like two
silly names
things:
through that.
gamer tag and Modern Warfare 2 chat rooms, like Call of Duty Modern Warfare chat rooms 2. That was toxic. Like it was. God, you think it was bullying now?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, Rust. Oh God, we have a friend that plays Rust, and he made me. I hopped on
Well, I
one
mean,
time, and
send some of these kids to a Rust server and
I
see
never
how they
played
do.
again. I was like, I'm gonna stick to my Dragon Ball Z. I'm gonna stick to my Dragon Ball Z. Oh
Yeah,
man, God, so many. But
yeah. It's rough.
when I
It's
Kyle was
rough.
like, dude, that's the perfect character for you. I said, I gotta write that
Through
down.
racial
I gotta
slurs,
know.
that's for
That might
sure.
be my new gamer tag. Who knows? Uh,
Yeah, I'd love it. I'd love to see it. We were talking the other day, like
I
we would
think it could
love to
happen.
see
There's some creative
like
mods
a
out there.
Fortnite skin of the clones and all the
Oh
characters.
man.
That'd be super fun.
Okay. So my follow up question is, what is your preferred preference for romancing a
Yeah.
gun?
Romancing a gun. Um, I think just like Brick. I think you got to take it out to
You gotta
Arby's.
take
I
him to
think that's
Arby's.
the you gotta treat them special. You
Listen, I
can't
wish
just
I
pull
could
the
say this was the
trigger
weirdest
on the
conversation I've
on
had
the
today,
old
but
gun.
it's not. It's not. Taking a gun to Arby's, huh?
Uh,
Sheesh. Not gonna take it to Olive Garden?
yeah, man. Well, so that's a line from the movie that Ted
Uh,
Welch came up with. He plays Brick in the movie, and he ad libbed probably about 50% of his lines in the movie. I mean, he said the lines that we wrote, and
mm,
then we anytime we would have him in a scene, we would make sure we always had
Really?
gave
So
the
let me guess.
opportunity
Since you
to
were the
ad lib
director, and
stuff
since
as
you went
well.
into the editing
And probably
room,
about
or
half the
hold
time
up,
I
let me
used the
rephrase that.
lines that he ad
So
libbed when we did the
since
edit
you've
because he was
since
so
this is
funny.
not your first movie you've directed, since you've worked in the film industry, do you get more frustrated as a director when your actors ad lib? Or are you just kind of like, hey, just read what I write, and then if you like the ad lib better, do you go with the ad lib? How do you go among that?
No, not at all. I think
Mm,
for me the big I because I write as well, so I'm co-writer on this movie, and then I directed it and I did the edit.
mm,
So for me, the movie's not really that characters don't really come to life until the actors inhabit them. I can only write what I know. I can only write sections of my personality. So on paper, those are all little me's running around, doing this little adventure. So when the actor gets in there and starts putting their own life onto it and their life experiences into that character, that's really exciting for me because that's when they come to life. That's when it's something that's um, got more dimension to it than just one person. So no, I
mm.
love it when they ad lib. I mean, I think as long as we're getting the message, as long as there are certainly
Right.
things that like for the story you have to say this. This is just for the plot. Certain information has to be expressed. But in
Nice. Okay.
terms of
I've always wondered that about directors because
character,
I'm just
the
like,
actors
what
coming
makes you
up with
more
stuff that they
frustrated when
think
they
their
just sit
character
there
would
and they
say,
try to ad lib
I'm all
20
for it. I
times,
love
or
it.
it's just like they say the line and then obviously because I did
I think
study film a little bit in school and I minored in editing and I learned that okay, yeah, you do one shot, and sometimes you look at it, they're like, okay, do an angle shot because you might like it at this angle, but then you're like, oh, let's do it from a second angle, and then you end up liking that second angle more than the first one.
Yeah, I mean, I think variety is great, and you definitely in the editing bay, you definitely want to have options. You don't want to like lock yourself into a certain take or a certain angle. Um, but I think, yeah, man, I think the variety is the spice of life, right? Like it increases your ability to craft the story and also I think the actors enjoy getting to some don't want to ad lib, some are happy to just say the words that are on the page, and I'm good with that too. But
Mm.
some like to an opportunity to play a little bit, and so usually what we do is we get the
Nice.
one that we need
All
in the
right,
can,
have a little fun
and
here with
we
this next
when
question.
we know we've
What
had
is
it
a
have the take the
crossover
way
you
we
would love
want
to
it,
see
we give them
Cop
a chance
Clones
to
be a
play it
part of?
more.
It's that big crossover movie you'd love to see. What character?
Oh man. I mean, I would love to see like, gosh, that's a good question, and I haven't really. I mean, the clones are just so funny, like the clones themselves. It's such a great look, and they're so that big marshmallow head. I think maybe
Yeah.
not a movie. I would love to see like an EDM artist use the clone cop helmet as their you know what I mean? I'd love to see like Dead Mouse, but with the clone cop helmet or something like that. That'd be incredible. I'd love. What I'm really looking forward to, and I really hope happens, is that people start cosplaying, and I hope I start seeing
Nice.
the the
But could you
the
think of
characters
one
and
TV
the
character?
clones at conventions and stuff. That would be a huge thrill for me.
We can do both.
A TV character like that to plop in the clone cop world or to put clones into. Yeah. Let's see. Uh,
Oh God, they would. How accurate have the clones been in that movie? Because I feel like both clones are just going to get into
yeah,
a
I mean
shooting
Star Wars.
contest
We were
and no
just
one's
talking
going to
about Star
win.
Wars, so I know, right? Especially like our clone cops versus old school stormtroopers, and it's just like shots missing constantly. Just nobody can hit anybody. Uh, yeah, man, that'd
All
be
right.
fun. I'd love to see like Star Wars clone cops crossover. I'm such a fan of both.
Oh god,
That'd be
like
super
fall
fun.
through the old classic. What would happen if
So
you
maybe
drop a
I could see a
lightsaber
clone getting a
through the
hold of a
floor?
lightsaber and just completely messing it up.
Yeah. Here, Morty, I got you a lightsaber. Oh, shit, Morty, shit.
Right? Yeah. The Rick
Gotta
and
keep.
Morty episode, like,
Just goes
keeps
digging.
going
Just
down.
meanwhile, you just see, and I just Rick and Morty is like, if I'm
Yeah.
ever having a bad day, that's one of my go-tos, and it's just like, here you go. They're doing all this crazy stuff. Meanwhile, and I'm like, dude, would ever stop? No, it'll never stop. I mean, I'm surprised they got away with that episode, but power to them. Oh god, they do. But one of my favorite ones on that show, I don't know why, like one of the like one-off, not serious
Yeah.
ones, is the
Yeah,
one
they
where
get away with a
Morty
lot on
dates
that show.
Captain Planet, or the girl version of Captain Planet. And I'm like, how? Say that again?
Right. Yeah. I think that
Oh, I don't know. I
was
gotta go back and look. But that one, I saw that and I was like,
I
really?
think Allison Brie
Really? I
did
mean,
the
I know
voice
Captain Planet's
of
part of Cartoon
the
Network and
Captain
Adult
Planet
Swim,
girl.
but I'm like, really? Wow, they got away with this? Like, okay, I'm here for this. Oh gosh. Oh man, but yeah, I'm so excited for season 7. I
Yeah.
watched season 6. I try to watch the anime one, but the anime
Yeah.
one's like their own thing. I watched the first episode of the Rick and Morty anime, and I was like, I'm good. I wasn't a fan. Really?
Yeah.
I
Somebody
thought it was a
pointed that
continuation
out.
of
I
season
haven't
7
looked at
because
it
you know
yet.
how that show
I
is.
don't
Like
think
they make
I
fun of
don't think I'm up
themselves.
to
So I'm
date
like,
on
oh,
most
okay.
recent
So they got
seasons either.
bored and they called it an anime, right? Because they try to stay with the times, and anime is hot right now. So I'm like, okay, nope, it's one completely different story, and I'm like, okay, I'm turning this off. This does not appeal to me. But really,
I have to admit, I am not a big
wow,
anime follower. I
it's
don't really
okay.
watch many anime.
I mean, if I knew how to hit the crying track right now, I'd probably
Yeah,
play a
it's
crying
it's
track in
not
the
really my
background.
thing. I get grief for it all the time. I saw a good meme the other day that was very me, which is I've never faced as much peer pressure to try drugs as I have
Oh,
to
God.
watch certain animes.
I can't
That's
do it neither. Don't
that's
worry. Kyle
all my
is like
friends.
the biggest One Piece, and all my
I've
other
had them
friends and
try to
all
get
my
me into
students
One
love
Piece
One
so many
Piece. And
times, and
I'm
I've
like,
tried
they're
to
like,
watch
Coach,
it.
what episode are you on? Kyle's like, what episode you on? I'm like, 82. 182? No. I'm telling you.
82,
And then
and you're
meanwhile, I'm over here. It's
barely
been taking me
scratching
like
the
2 years
surface,
to
and it's
finish Bleach. Because
82
growing up, I
episodes.
used to like
It's
Bleach. And
so
now as an
daunting.
adult, I'm
There's
like,
too
dude,
much.
this is boring. Can you do something? Come on. I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. Hmm?
Yeah, no, I really liked Blue Eye Samurai on Netflix. Was really cool. I did like that
Yep.
one, and I like Doro Idoro. The I think that was on Netflix as well with the big lizard head guy. Um, those were
Yeah.
cool, but
Don't worry, trust me, I'm in the same
there are
boat. People
some that I
pressure me all the time.
dig.
I'm like,
It's
dude,
just
I like my Dragon Ball, I like
it's
my
not something that I
Naruto.
really like
That's it.
watch a ton of.
Like the kids. Yeah. I mean, the kids will put me on some stuff. They're like, Coach, you got to watch this. And I'm like, bet. And then I'll watch it. I'll be like, hey,
Man, the like
good job. Do I get an A? No, but good job. Like I'm telling you, just they'll keep you on your toes too, man. They'll keep you on your toes, and I'm just like, man. But they be putting you on. They be like, Coach, you got to watch this. It's worth it. I'm like, bet. And they keep telling me to watch the new Daredevil show, but I haven't watched it yet because I'd never finished season 3 when it was on Netflix. I never started season 3. That's like I've
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I don't
Well,
think I've
it
finished
took,
it either.
and you
I
know how it
liked
is. It
it
just took
at
them
first,
forever to
and
produce
I
it.
just kind of one of those shows that I just didn't get
He
back
dies in
into
the
when the new season
Defenders,
came out.
and then it just took them forever to produce it, and then it got canceled for like a hot minute, and now it's back, and it's just like, oh, Okay, I gotta start this back up. But I ain't starting over from the very beginning because I'm like, hmm, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, I know you
Yeah,
showed
he
up.
did, and that was very. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I would say
I
you
like
showed up in
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk,
I've
I
read her in
think,
the
for a
comics. She's pretty
couple
good in the
episodes
comics.
as
She
well.
does pretty good now in the current because like I collect the comics, and she's been a good side character for the Amazing Spider-Man run. But seeing them flirt was like out of left field. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't see that coming. See, I did too. Like,
Yeah, I dug the
see,
show.
people were hating on it, but I'm
Caught a
like,
lot
if
of
you
grief,
read the
but I thought it
comics,
was a
she
fun one. I
breaks the
liked all
fourth
the
wall,
little
and she's
fourth wall
supposed to be
breaks and
silly.
the nods to the audience.
I did too. And then that finale where she's like, Marvel, what are you doing? And it's just like
Yeah,
Kevin Feige's the
yeah,
robot.
I
I'm
dug it.
like,
I thought it was a good show. Yeah,
mm,
yeah. When she breaks
yeah,
out of the
I'm hoping for a season two, but I don't know. It did kind of get
the screen,
murky
the
results.
Disney Plus screen. I thought that was clever. That was really fun.
Well, it's just like, oh,
Yeah, yeah, it
oh.
did. It definitely
Well, I
it got
didn't care
rigged,
for.
but
Well, a lot of people also didn't care for the
you
Miss
know,
Marvel one, but I thought the Miss
like
Marvel
I
one was
said,
fine too. I thought, because she's kind of a newer character in the comics. So, I mean, what do you expect? And she's only like, I think in the comics, she's like a young college kid, but for the longest time, she was, you know, a 15-year-old trying to figure it out. And that's what, Marvel did.
yeah, I like that show.
All right.
The actor that they had playing her, I
All
thought
right, I
was
got
great.
another crazy question
She
for
was
you, okay?
really really fun.
Is
I enjoyed that show.
is the sauce pure?
The sauce is pure. You cannot contaminate it. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but that is
Okay.
me. The voiceover on
Uh, I
the
will.
sauce is pure. Is that's my voice. That's
I will
my
tell Kyle the
cameo
sauce is
in the
pure. That was
movie.
one of his questions. He's
Uh,
like,
so
Devin, I gotta ask him about the sauce. I'm like,
the
okay, ask him
the
about the
sauce must
sauce.
be pure.
The sauce is pure. Oh man. But while filming the movie, what was your funnest scene to film?
I really enjoyed the dance off. We had this really fun dance sequence that we kind of shot like a music video. The song on it, which is Miss Prince, by as a band called Hey Steve. It's a Nashville band.
Okay.
It's a super fun song that
So
got stuck in
another
everybody's
follow up
head.
question. How
So yeah,
did
the
you
dance off
guys
was
pull off the
definitely
special
a
effects
blast
for
to
the
shoot.
extra large clone cop having the original John's face on his stomach?
Yeah, that a lot of credit to that goes to Charles Royce, who was our visual effects supervisor, and Rick Prince, who did our makeup effects, and it was kind of a combined effort between the two of those guys.
Mm.
So Dion, who plays the big bruiser clone, we did a life cast of his chest, his torso, and then had that made up in silicone. And then there's a hole in it, and Philip's face went in that hole, and so we shot all of that practically, and then Charles went in VFX and cleaned up the edges of it and added some veins and stuff and
Oh,
made it
dude, that's pretty
mesh
dope.
in a little
Okay.
bit better.
Okay.
Yeah,
Last
so it was
question
between the two of
here.
them, but it was mostly
If you
practical
could
with
have
just
a
a little
clone,
help
your
from
very own
VFX.
clone at home, what would you have it do?
I mean, I think the answer is pretty obvious. I'd have sex with it, right?
I didn't expect that one. No, the clones from the movie. Sorry. I mean, if you're cloning underneath, there's you, I guess.
I'm sorry, is this a clone of me?
Sorry, I should have been more
Oh,
specific.
okay. Different answer, man. Different answer. Um, God, I don't know, like
Oh man, I feel
what I
that.
have the
God, you
clone
said
do. Definitely, like maybe do
you
my
think it would hate you
taxes.
very
Maybe
quickly?
do all the things that just do all the
See,
things I don't want to
I'm
do.
the opposite.
They would hate me very quickly.
I would tell mine to go to work because I would go to work. Can we do shows? No.
I think they would
Can we
hate
run
all the
podcasts? No.
garbage tasks
And what do we
I
do?
would
Go
give
to
to them.
work. Go to work for me, so I can do all the fun stuff. Oh, and you gotta drive me to gigs. Oh man.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
Danny. My last question here is: where can the people at home find the
I
movie?
dig my job, so that's definitely the fun stuff for me. Oh yeah, absolutely. So you can rent or buy it right now on Amazon, Apple TV, anywhere you rent or buy movies. We're actually on demand as well. So if through your cable or satellite TV provider, you can find us on demand. We're on Fandango at
Awesome.
home.
And as always,
You can find
guys, you
all
can
that
come see
information
me
on our
on my
website,
podcast, The More Sports
clonecopsmovie.com. We've
Podcast,
got
the
links
sports
to all
podcast
the
for
places that
everybody,
you want
as
to
well as Popcorn Buckets, where we review a movie every Sunday. And we have our, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Random Incorporated, where you can watch the video version of this podcast interview as all the other awesome podcast guests that we've had on our show for the past 2 years. It's been fun having everybody on there. And hey, follow us on Instagram at Rendo Bucket Boys. And hey, Warren Troy at Rendo Corporal One. Danny, do you have any last words to say before I end it here? Yeah, go watch it. The sauce is pure. Don't worry. The
I'm all
sauce
good,
is
man. I just
pure.
want to say thanks so much for having us on. It's been a blast, and go watch Clone Cops.